gotta ask yourself whether reality is a dream. Are you a dream or reality? We're all a part of the answer to the meaning of it all. Come in and join us for the moment we call now. Rise up, join in, raise the whole vibration.
Yes, welcome. You made it. I made it. We all made it. We're all together here. It's Thursday again. What is it? It's October 2nd. It's 9 p.m. We've all decided to call this moment that so that we could be here together. So thank you guys for showing up. I already see Arnie Layton in the audience and Tim Lorenz since the beginning, reminding me to ask you, if you're here, why not type in hashtag live into the comments right now, just so the algorithm knows that there's a party happening and that people should pay attention, and that the algorithm will feed it out to different people and say, hey, there's something going on over there. If you're watching the replay, type hashtag replay. This way I know you were here, and we can catch up at some later date. I'm super excited tonight. Tonight is like some sort of cosmic reunion for the live stream of consciousness. The original one of the original hosts is back with some amazing new stuff, and I'm excited to talk about it. And I also see Julie out there. What is up, Julie? I've not seen you in a while. Good to see your face and your extra eyes in your high. I love it. I've been doing something, Jesse, I don't think has seen this, not on my show. But I also want to be fully transparent and give the credit where it's due. Brian Lahr, the Wizard of Odd, his shows have been really kind of taken off, and he does this a little bit of a practice as part of his shows, right? So he does like breathing exercises and meditations and stuff, and that just gave me the idea because I have this amazing singing bowl sage right here. And I like to sonically sage the space. I like to take 3 deep breaths, and I got to change the banner. Thank you, Arnie, for that. I always leave the banner scrolling from the last show. It's like been this weird thing that I've been doing. So thank you. You're the first guy who's actually said, "Hey, you got the banner going from the last show." Thank you. I appreciate that. That's how collaboration works. And what is up, Hat Powser? Good to see you. Good day, ascending fractal wonders, all of us here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's do this. What I do is, if you haven't done it, well, I know you've done it because it's just breathing and you're doing it all the time. But what I'm going to do is we're going to take 3 breaths together. We're going to breathe in, and then we're going to hold it for a second, and we're going to breathe out. And what we're going to do as we're doing that is we're going to just push out all the things that we don't need, right? I got stuck in traffic on the way home today. I don't need that. I don't need that energy. I'm going to push that energy out. So let's all do it together with Sage here. And we'll start by breathing in together. Nice deep breath in. Push it out. Another in breath. Bringing all the good stuff in. Letting go of all the bad stuff. Ooh, Sage is getting loud. One last one together. Oh, yeah, push it out. Nice. Oh, Sage. I love you, Sage. I had an excellent connection with this bowl in the store when I saw it, and I just had to have it. And 2 weeks later, here it was. Janice got it for me just because she knew how taken I was with it. It's amazing. Thank you. But thanks for indulging me, and I'm back. So I'm super excited tonight. It is a reunion of sorts. I was telling you, Jesse Blaze, the original host of the live stream of consciousness, is here with me, and we're talking about his new Kickstarter project, which I'm excited because I feel like I had a little bit to do with it. I showed Jesse some new technology and he loved it, and I showed it to him because I knew it would be perfect for him. And we're going to talk about all of that stuff as I welcome back to the live stream of consciousness, Mr. Jesse Blaze Snyder. What is happening, my friend?
Hello, everybody. I'm a little under the weather, so if I seem a little like I'm a little dopey. I've been like sleepy and having a lot of work to do. But my body's achy and stuff. But yeah. Shout out to Brian Lauer. He's awesome. I'm supposed to go on Brian's show. I was supposed to call him back the other day. I've been having so many computer problems. I feel like I have gremlins. You know, like I think that my spiritual work is so powerful that they're sending flying monkeys, viruses and things to stop me from, like, I really get a mailing list. I've had like just a ton of different things, and now I'm sick. I'm like, what is going on this right now?
Well, you know, give yourself some forgiveness. You're allowed to be sick. Your energy doesn't always have to be up here. I posted this thing today that I heard that I love, and it said, before enlightenment, chop wood, boil water. And then it says, after enlightenment, chop wood, boil water.
And, that's really funny shit, actually, because I would say I would not have laughed at that even like 8 months ago. I think I'm realizing chop wood, boil water. You know, like every dysfunction that I had in any direction has just come to like a really grateful, yeah, it'll come when it comes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Jennifer Candel's out there selling hugs and healing home slice. Welcome, Jennifer.
I had a really crazy, like next level, spiritual experience. If you want me to tell you about it later, but that really just ultimately brought me a lot of peace, even though it was the scariest experience of my life, and it lasted a while.
Why don't you tell us about it now before we get started? Does it have anything to do with the story, or is this something separate?
Well, yeah, I mean, the basic. I would say I'm just going to tell like a snippet of it, but
Okay.
I would say that I went down to the very bottom of the rabbit hole. I got disciplined with my marijuana usage because I would meditate with it, and I would get insanely connected to spirit. I was deep meditation, and I would just sort of use it as an aid, and I started having ayahuasca experiences like every weekend, and at a certain point it cultivated when I moved out to California for the summer, and I had like this God experience where I was experiencing, for all intents and purposes, and now I don't remember, thank goodness, past and present and future, and then I was seeing just like this crazy scale that made everything feel like brief and meaningless, and so many different things. And it blew my mind. And to experience what God is experiencing, which I was experiencing a fraction, but it was this like your experience, my experience. My friend Digger's in the other room with his friend Anthony, and their experiences all at once, and my mother and my father and my children right now, and everybody's experience happening all at once, and it be responding to the thing whilst knowing where it ends. I had once played, if you're anywhere near my age group, you might remember what was called the Game Genie, which would connect to old school Nintendo games. I don't know what other systems they might have made it for.
Yeah.
You could plug it into the system, and you put it in, and you could hack the game. And I remember there was a hack to one of the games, to Mario Brothers, that was called the Moonwalk, and you could jump to the top of the level. And I beat Mario Brothers after like struggling with it for quite a while at whatever age I was. I beat it in like less than 30 minutes, and I never played it again. And I was reminded of this as I was having this experience, and I'm seeing all of these things, and essentially like this moment, this now, is rendered meaningless with everything taken into consideration, and like this long-term scale, and I literally went, whoa, you guys gotta help me. you got to get rid of this information. I can't have this information.
Mhm.
Like, please, do I have to remember all of this? And I guess at the time I was like speaking directly to God in this experience, and he said, some of it you have to remember conceptually, you have to remember some of this information, but yes, absolutely, we can take away your memory of some of the things that you are understanding and seeing right now.
Right.
However, we want you to understand that that's what we're doing all the time for everyone. That's why you should have faith, because we're the only ones who can be responsible for the illusion, because too much information within this illusion and you're not going to want to play. And I just like saw that like so strongly, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like, and it was this amazing realization, because there's a lot of spiritual realizations that people have come to, and have begun to come to, and will come to, but they're all inevitable. One of them is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ultimately it's just one big being. You can't hurt yourself, or there's going to be some sort of feedback loop you'll be in, some sort of karma.
Mm.
Secondly, living in the now. It's necessary to live in the now, when and there's a lot of ways to get there, but when you see the scale, the infinite scale of this consciousness, expanding and contracting, and really like see it at scale, this becomes such a minuscule moment in time as to be vitally important.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Mhm.
why do you live in the now? Live in the now, because you're never going to get this back. And I would tell you, at a certain point, not that far off, this isn't going to matter. And doesn't that make it matter all that more right now that it matters? Like, even that it matters that you might be mad at somebody. It's like, oh, well, like, isn't it great that, because, right, if you're mad at somebody, it's an unresolved love, right? It's like,
Mhm.
it goes
Mhm.
on,
Mhm.
it goes away. What if I were to resolve that love? Oh, it's going to like float away or something. There was a lot of like scary thoughts within this whole thing, and I was catatonic after this experience for like 3 weeks,
Well, sure.
just sort of like praying and trying to get more information to understand, like the whole bit of it. But it just showed me faith is a necessity, because I don't want to be in control of my perspective. It will be better. Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to share in relation to this, right? So one of the things that I guess began this whole thing was a realization that I had had in deep meditation, working with plant medicine in the past, that I had realized on this third time now that they'd shown it to me, that I had squashed it. I had erased it from my memory. I didn't like it so much that I went, nah, mm-mm. And then it happened again at another time that I could remember, and I went, no, I don't like this. And then when it came back this time, I went, oh, damn it, that's right, guys. I'm like, why do I keep working with these plant medicines? You've told me multiple times,
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like hearing you're telling me. I can't like accept it, but this time I accepted it. And what they what they told me, which just scared the crap out of me, as a somebody who considers themselves an intellectual sort of person, uh,
Mhm.
that is, on a journey of discovery, trying to, really understand the shape of the thing, so that I can find the leverage point of reality, and be useful to my family and useful to my friends and good at what I do, better at what I do. So the lesson was that essentially someone like me trying to think, where I go is that I come to the realization that it was more fun when everything was scary and I was surprised all the time. And I'm like, what? I'm like,
Right.
I'm on an intellectual journey to decide not to be
That's great. I love, it's interesting you say that, and it's true. I was thinking about this the other day, like you're spiritually ascension, right? You're trying to ascend, but then you get to this point where the message is, oh no, wait, go back to the moment, go back to that moment and enjoy that moment.
Yes,
Forget about this stuff. You know what I
yes.
mean? Just go enjoy that moment.
Ultimately, it's like total scared straight, man, because
Yeah,
you're like, wait, I don't want to get sucked into that black hole. I'm gonna go, no, it's just great. This is great. I like it. I'm gonna put some curtains up here. This is beautiful. I'm just appreciate just
Totally.
immediately. It's hysterical.
Totally. But that, I mean, I think that's a part of it, right? That helps you. It helps you to feel sane, at least, to just know, okay, I got to enjoy the moment. And then of course there are the moments where you're like, wait a second, I got to find out what that means. And then you just go too far off into the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I want to know what being sick means right now. Either I'm like,
Yeah.
so,
But we're here to talk about something specific, right? This moment right now that we're in, you have something very specific going on, and it's been great to kind of watch it come to life and be a part of it. But I would love to kind of give you the opportunity to talk all about it and tell us where it came from. Obviously you've been around the live stream of consciousness since the inception, so we know the idea is everything is energy. But I know for me, in the last couple of years, seeing things with cymatics really got me into sound and understanding how sound affects matter and how sound affects the cosmos, the universe, everything, source.
Yeah.
But that's what you seem to have gotten into.
With Star Trek fan, right?
What's that?
I said you're a Star Trek fan, right?
I am a Star Trek fan.
Can you remember, the doctor going over with the little thing and
Yeah, tricorder. Yeah.
I always, I don't know, I had some suspicion based on a lot of famous quotes when I was younger that there was something to that. There was really, and that maybe one day indeed, when we knew the right frequency. And now, as a spiritualist who studied Hermetic principles and whatever else, I would say that's absolutely the case. And, the whole universe is just octaves on top of octaves, ones that you can't hear and ones that you can. But interestingly, this kind of came about. If you were finished anyway, is a good.
Yeah, I'm opening up the floor because I want to hear all about, what took you from energy to frequency.
Well, when I was a kid, and mind you, until I was 28 years old, I was a agnostic, atheist, skeptic, very majorly skeptic. I had a skeptic dictionary. Bullshit was, one of my favorite television shows. Penn and Teller was one of my, God, I still love Penn so much.
Yeah.
But I was very, very closed-minded to spirituality. So this really for me isn't even like a spiritual conversation, even though it has become one, as it's gotten deeper into my understanding of so much of it. And I remember being told a few different factoids at the time about 432 frequency, and that we had been switched over to tuning in 440 frequency. So for those who don't know, the standard tuning in all popular music that you hear on the radio is 440 hertz. 432 frequency was believed to be better, and 432 is just a mathematically interesting number. You can divide it by 9, 6, and 3, as well as a shitload of other numbers like 144 and others. And 432 shows up in a lot of interesting places, both in sort of spiritual kind of texts, whether it's Norse or another. And then as well as sort of mathematical things, like the sun and the moon, sort of the ratio between them and stuff. So you can find 432, and in nature, I'm going to say, even though the sun and the moon, I question how natural all of the positionings of all those things actually are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very interesting number, to say the least. And there was another bit that I had heard along the way that was, that was Goebbels, who was the propaganda minister for Nazi Germany, had put up 440 frequency hertz as a frequency that could help control people.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, 432 has been tested scientifically, not in a lot of studies, but the scientific academia would say, oh, it hasn't been tested enough. But I mean, it's ancient medicine through sound healing. That's now, if you do sound healing, you'll get, the little tuning forks, and they're all on the Solfeggio scale, which is the scale that's used on this record, plus 432, which is the one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's shown to relax people and lower heart rates and whatever else. And for me, ultimately, I just think that this is sometimes there's something that you'll find out about, like another thing that I'm working on, hemp plastic, where you're like, hemp could be used for paper and plastic, and it grows like weeds, and we don't have to cut down any trees. Why wouldn't we do that? Like, that's a no-brainer.
Clothes and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
So it's like, hey, there's a frequency that's like better, and it's like, ancient medicine, and it's harmonic frequency, and look at the math here and whatever, and all we have to do is just adjust our tuning. Just like, it just seems so silly to not do that. So, I'm kind of like, I want to push through demonstration, because I really believe like these tunes, they really open us up. It's sort of like walking meditation, listening to these frequencies. But when you go and find frequencies like this, it's never this sort of music that, I've made here, which is like, rock, pop, soul kind of music, things that you might hear on the radio. It's always chanting and weird noises often and stuff. And I just have, this whole time, as I've become more spiritual and I've really like tried to listen to these things myself, I was hoping somebody would do something better. So as you said, and I gave you credit in a little interview thing, that there's like, if you go to the Kickstarter, there's and I sent you the link, there's a interview that Michael cut together, where I tell a little bit of this story. But Michael had turned me on to a AI system that initially I wasn't interested in, because I would just imagine AI was making the music for people, as opposed to adapting things that you were looking to find, like directly melodies and lyrics, and like I could arrange the song the way I want it and like everything. I started playing around with it, and really quickly I realized that one of the easiest things to do, and there are plenty of more difficult things to do while working with the AI, but an easy thing to do was to have it give them all back to me in any frequency that I wanted. So, 432 immediately, and then I started messing with some of the Solfeggio frequencies, and I was listening to this stuff for a while myself and just absorbed it, because like this album and all of the initial songs that were recorded are just made up of things that I wrote for my kids, things that I wrote for my mom, my dad. I wrote this song called Young Frankenstein that was just, it was all Young Frankenstein quotes, and me and my dad are big Young Frankenstein fans, and I had wanted to record it for years, and I just didn't have an excuse to do it, so I recorded it. It was just like as a joke to like to send to my dad. It came out great. It's so fucking great. It might end up. I wasn't going to include it, but as a thing on the Heart record, I have a second record that you can get for like a little additional cost called the Heart record, which is going to have the songs I wrote for my kids and the one I did for my mom, and then an alternate version of the song I did for Julie and my girlfriend. And it's really cool, because that's where I started. I was just like making things for myself. Like even some of the ones that I did for my kids and whatnot, like I don't actually think that there's some of the few songs that aren't in frequencies, because I hadn't figured that out yet.
Right.
But but I opened up an old notebook actually that's like right behind me. Like I've moved past this notebook. My computer's sitting on top of my new notebook right now. But this was an older notebook from like now, like a few years ago. And it's like, I don't know, at least 8 to 10 years worth of work. And I just started going through it and finding all these songs that like I really, had to bug up my ass to finish, because I'm sitting on thousands of
Yeah.
things, largely like in my recorded note, my recordings, but in my actual written down notebook, mostly those were things that I was just like, I was so happy with, or they were all like, it was so ready to go that I just needed to write it down.
Right.
So I went into that book and I just started like tearing through it and, recording all these different things. And I was sitting on like 60 songs and just listening to myself for a little while and being drawn to different frequencies. And at a certain point, I just kind of went, I should make this available to other people.
Hmm.
And when I did that, it just kind of came and went like any other record that I'd ever done. Even, people liked it and stuff, but like it was like people weren't seeming to understand, like what it was. And
Right.
I just went, I gotta talk about this, because it had been suggested to me that I do some sort of physical record, and it was with when this record came out. And I was at first thinking about doing like a big box set or something like that, but I just didn't really have any interest in going back and repeating, work on things that I'd already done a lot of work on.
Yeah.
And but this, it just gave me an excuse to, instead of talk about myself and the art, more to talk about frequency and how beneficial it can be, and just the advocacy of this simple change that we could make in all of modern music. We could be listening to elevator music and it's calming us all down. We could be, listening to the radio and it's calming us all down. We could be listening to, a movie and a podcast and, whatever else, and the score is calming us down. Wouldn't you want to live in a world where the frequencies are calming us down?
Absolutely.
Especially when there's a lot of frequencies that are terrible for us, like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and 3 through 5G or whatever else that are there, and we're not hearing them, but they're not good for us. So it would be great to start balancing this out with some frequencies that have been proven to be really good, since ancient times. And if you want to see this advocacy continue, please support the project. I'm starting to work on a petition that I'm going to like put up to like the government. And
I think it's awesome. Yeah, I think it's awesome. And I just want to kind of visualize what you're even talking about here. I found this image while you were talking, and this is a cymatic kind of pattern, right? So if you don't know what cymatics are, when you play a certain tone on a plate and it vibrates and you have sand on the plate, it'll make a pattern. Or they could do this with water. They can put a speaker in with water, and then these are the patterns that show up, right? And you can see here at 432 hertz, it's a beautiful harmonic pattern, where at 440 it's more chaos. And you can see here at the bottom the 432 tuning that you would tune in like a guitar to your A note. And then what the 440 tuning is complete chaos. It's just like muddled,
Michael, where was this image when we were putting together the Kickstarter images? Like,
I just found it. I just was like, as you were talking, I was like, yeah, you know what? We never even looked at that. Yeah,
I put this up on the page.
Totally.
Yeah, if you go to the page, you'll see. You know what, Michael? I should have given you like a credit somewhere. I didn't credit myself. I didn't write any credits, but I should give you a credit.
Oh no.
On the page. But Michael did most of, well, some of it. Sometimes he was given elements or whatever. But
yeah, it was a collaboration. I mean, I feel like. Look, hold on. I have another thing I want to share here. Share my screen, and it's this right here. So this is the actual Kickstarter itself. I'm not going to play the video because it's a long video, but here.
That one's like a 2-minute video.
Oh, that's the. Maybe I can play.
That's the one that Digger made. Maybe you've done.
Let's play it. Now you don't have to talk. Now it'll explain the whole thing.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about frequency. Now, Albert Einstein once said, everything in life is vibration. And I think modern physics would agree. Matter is energy in motion, and sound is one of the most direct shapers of it. For thousands of years, Indian rishis tuned chants and instruments to natural harmonics, what we now would call sound healing, bringing mind and body together into balance using mathematical harmonic frequencies to do the job. You can do it with music too. Unfortunately, almost all commercial music is tuned to 440 hertz, a pitch spiritualists would tell you is out of tune with nature, and conspiracy theorists would tell you is the frequency Hitler used to control the masses. Whatever the case, finally, through the miracle of AI, I'm fighting for harmony with progressive pop rock music written and recorded in true harmonic frequencies at 432 hertz and the full Solfeggio scale, with lyrics, melody, and frequency working together to help you heal and feel. Just remember, this isn't just background meditation music. This is more like something you might hear on modern radio, but with healing frequencies baked into its very core. Killer arrangements, memorable hooks, and science-backed vibrations. I'm Jesse Blaze Snyder. Dive deeper and feel the difference at our Kickstarter page now, with offers for exclusive tracks, signed things, limited edition records, and more. Plus, a longer video telling the story of how this all came to be. Anyway, I'll see you over there.
Bam. Nice. There you go. There's the story of how this where you could go for the Kickstarter, and if you want to see more of the story, you can check out the other video. But I also want to share and you tell me if we can do this. I don't want to get oh my goodness, why can't I share this? I'm having production, I'm misproducing right now. Here we go. Solfeggio. All right. So here is the actual Spotify page. I wanted to know if you wanted to play a little sample.
Yeah, it would be great. I would like the one that we were just hearing the drums for, Heaven All 24/7.
All right. Let's do this.
It's interesting because it's like this was inspired by the school shootings and and the dichotomy of sort of if you're like me and you've been taught to sort of go out into the world and be brave, and we're living in this world where you're worried about getting shot up at school. So,
I just want to play a little bit because I don't want to get any sort of like music copyright strike or anything, but I want people to hear what you were talking about, because for me, frequencies were very important auditorially, I guess you would say, because I was listening to binaural beats and frequencies more in the capacity that you were talking about, right? Like you would hear when you go into a spa, like a nice pad music and just tones and chanting and those kinds of things. But what you've done here is completely different, and that's what I love so much about this project. So let's take a listen. Oh, I gotta sign up free. I am signed up already. I didn't sign in. Let's sign in. Look at this live television, folks. Hopefully I remember my password. No, I don't want to sign. Oh, that was not my right account. All right, you're doing good, Mike. Rock and roll. Log in another way. I do believe this is my account. No. All right. For some reason, that's not going to work. Damn it. Let's see if there's another way I can do this. You sent me this, but this is also, that's the Kickstarter page. I was doing it in in Chrome, because I can share it with the audio, where in Safari it won't give me the audio. So let me just try to sign back into Spotify here while we
I'm just kidding.
Say that again.
I said, Stimpy, you idiot.
I know, it happens. This says,
yeah. Have you heard about the very cool Frequency album that is out live on Kickstarter now? We have not quite reached our goal yet. We need backers.
All right, it's not letting me go. Log in another way. It's not letting me do it.
You will hear it eventually, Tim.
Yeah, I was going to say for the folks out there listening, there's a bunch of what's up, Stacia? There's a bunch of good friends of Jesse's here in the audience, and you were talking about that Young Frankenstein song, and I'm thinking in my head, wow, Jesse hasn't sent me that one. I haven't heard that one. And then Tim said, hey, you haven't sent me that one, so I don't feel so left out.
It was for my dad, man.
Oh yeah. So Dee's heard it.
Although I did also send it to Steel Panther to ask them if they wanted to record it.
Nice. Very nice. How awesome would that be? I also want to talk about, I don't know if you want to talk about the latest track that you sent me. Is that something we can talk about? I can't seem to get this to work. This is horrible. Let me see if I can do this.
Talk about it. I think it's going to be the bonus track if we hit 10,000.
So just watching you work with the AI, from day one, and just watching you kind of really get into it and learn how to use it. Okay, here we go. I've got this. Maybe I can share this. It was, when you sent me that track, it was almost like the culmination of all of that, because we've been friends for a while, and I've watched you sing into your recorder and take that and then make that into a song by, bringing it to a band and expand it and instrument it and all of that stuff. And it was just like that. It was like you had collaborated with like the best musicians who really understood you and what your music is all about. And I was just like, holy crap, that's it. And I actually I reached out to Suno, and I want them to hear it. I want them to recognize what you're doing with their tool, because it is really, really exactly what we should be doing with AI tools.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's interesting because oftentimes I haven't been able to bring to life my vision because I wasn't the player. I can, or I haven't done it in a while, but I could bang out a chord arrangement for something that I wrote, but it's very like mechanical the way I would figure it out, and there's a lot of nuance to choosing the right chord support for music, and I really prefer to work with people who are as studied in music as as I am in melody and lyrics.
Right.
So working with the AI, it's like I'm working with somebody as skilled in music as I am in melody and lyrics. And it's very much like working with the humans, because sometimes I get what I want or close to what I want, sometimes I don't, and you keep kind of going in and reconfiguring your approach to communicating it to them. I have had some songs that I made something, but I don't like what I made. I'm not happy with how it came out.
Right.
Probably approach it again in the future. But in the first round of this thing, there was a small part of me that was holding back because I felt guilty about working with the robots on my songs, and that I was like being a jerk to it. But the opportunity that I have just to realize the thing exactly, as I'd like, or at least close, there's something that evokes the feeling.
Yeah.
Because the control is not as as controlled as you might like it to be, but the results are really solid. And if you give the systems good material and guidance, essentially they're like, when I go, like this, and then this, and then this, and then the AI, it doesn't just say yes, affirmative. It says, oh yeah, I get it. I get why you want to go this and then this and then this, because that's okay. And it's sort of like the more it's guided to greatness, the greater it is, because it's subtly savvy, because it's just kind of studied all the greatness.
Totally.
And
Well,
it's really it's really been fun to work with it for me. It's unleashed me.
well, you know what, you said something interesting, and I'm just going to respond to the idea of what you said about working with humans and working with the AI. You felt guilty, but I think that what I saw, because I watched you really like take this tool and go and take an idea and feed it into the AI like over and over and over and over again until you got it, you were molding it like clay and to get it to where you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And so the benefit of that overworking with a musician is, imagine, well, it actually would probably be fun, but imagine you were in a room with, you know, a guitar player and a bass player for 14 hours on end, you know, and like, so you didn't have to worry about somebody else getting tired or bored or walking
That's
away.
the thing, you know,
You
like
know,
my children's songs, like, "Hey, Gus, come sit down with me. I got a lullaby I want to record for my kid." All right, got any money? It's just for my kid, man. You know, like that was so much of the stuff that like began all of this. You know, I just wanted to have the ability to make some things.
yeah.
You know, but by tuning them to the frequencies, that has been notoriously difficult for me to do with a band.
Mhm,
I've
mhm.
tried, and usually there's you know a person or two who's just not exactly capable or doesn't really understand.
Mhm.
You know, I'm determined to you know to go out there and play in 432 in the future,
Mhm.
but it's definitely eluded me up until now. You
Right.
know, and for me that was the bit that like made me cross over to the dark side because
Mhm.
it's funny. I had an artist friend of mine who just sort of went. Um, I see it says something about AI, and like I explained myself because I could tell like her aversion.
Right.
And, she still hasn't responded.
Wow.
She ooh, and I was like, oh, you know, but as far as I'm concerned, it really, um, you know, if I go, I'd like to go back around and you know convert these things or some of the best of these things, you know, into um, a real life, you know,
Live
just
band. Yeah, yeah.
version of the thing with a band.
Sure.
And any band that I would have translated with me, I would probably, you know, give them a portion of the, you know, the writing credit, you know, to, you know, helping me to put that together, you know.
Transcribe it over to real instruments. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
You know, but in the meantime, this is just a glorious tool, and I think I'm using it as like sort of I don't know. There's a good word for it, but like as reasonably isn't it? But like I'm using it as holistically as possible. You know what I mean? I think I'm doing good with it.
Yeah,
Uh,
you are doing great. You're doing great.
and it's something that I don't think that you know otherwise we haven't seen it. There's a reason why it's a little difficult. I've had difficulty with it. I mean, the last thing, like I'll say, just like to nail in the coffin of the
Yeah.
difficulty, right? Like this album in particular, there's it opens and it closes in 432 hertz, and
Mhm,
then there's 9 different solfeggio frequencies on the scale, right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
that's 10 different frequency scales. We would need if we were going to play this live 10
Mhm.
guitars, 10 bass.
Sets of instruments. Yeah.
I'm not even sure if we would
Yeah.
what we would need to do with the drums, if we would need to tune the drums
Right.
to all those different scales. But
Right.
I mean, 174 or whatever, like that's way far away from like
Right.
probably, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
It's a logistical challenge for sure with that. Yeah.
challenge. So switching to 432 as standard is like a great idea and a simple thing or whatever, you know, because it's just one. But to do what we've done here, and you know, and generally, you know, just to dabble in this world, and you know, like it's like you could do a night in 528, you know, but to do a whole bunch of different frequencies, you got to have a whole bunch of different instruments.
Right.
So it's definitely like you know a bit of a challenge to go super deep with these things. But you know, 432 is doable, and I am going to try to do something interesting in the different frequencies in the future. You know, because we could at least pick a few of the frequencies. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. All right. I want to try to play a song just so people can get a taste of it. I'm gonna just. I don't know if Safari is gonna share the audio the same way. You might be able to hear it. Let me know. Hopefully this works. And let's play Heaven All 24/7. Is that, you hear that?
know that life's a party, living in heaven all 24/7. This is the place, better learn to love the taste. Death ain't a party, it's a party gone to waste.
All right, I just stopped it because I was almost at 30 seconds. I don't want to get a strike, but I think that gave a little bit of a taste as far as, like I was saying, this is not your meditation music. This is like old school rock and roll, Jesse Blaze style. And if you know Jesse's music, you know he's not fooling around.
I think, you know, it's just really dynamic hooks. You know, a lot of it's very spiritual. You know, so many of these songs are very personal to me. You know, there's a song in there, That's All I Need. There's just one little melody in that one in particular that I love. And it's kind of like covered up by the other melodies that are around it. But it's just so tired of being tired, fed up by what we've been fed. Broken-hearted, uninspired, done going where I've been led. And I've been singing that, so tired of being tired. I've been singing that for so long. I loved that thing. Like I just had to put it in something. And I was actually kind of like unhappy. Like I'm like, I put it in a song, but I feel like it's been like drowned out by other parts, because it's a cute song, the All I Need. But and there's a couple other melodies in it that are good, but that melody in particular is really great.
You know, I think just knowing you, and I guess this is like a personal opinion kind of thing, but just knowing you, I feel like all of your music kind of comes from that, right? I mean, I've seen you just like, we're having a conversation and we say a phrase comes out and you hear the phrase in this way and you're like, hold on, and you get your recorder and you say the phrase a couple of times musically, and then you expand that into an idea. So it's very, very organic, which again is what I love so much about this project, is that yes, it's AI assisted, but there's so much organic to it. And I also want to kind of acknowledge Arnie Layton in the audience there, who was saying he totally can relate to you when you were talking about, you know, these notebooks of, you know, hundreds of songs. You know, he also, you know, he was never a musician. It was always just something he always wanted to do, and he wrote songs, and now he's able to, with the AI, realize that vision. And he's created some really cool songs and a cool album on his own. So he gets it. Make AI work for you, never work for AI.
Yeah, you know, I think we have to meet in the middle, you know, with all these things. And, you know, for me, the ability to put them in healing frequencies was just sort of like all right, well, you can't argue with fucking humanitarianism.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, that's a good thing to do. So like that's cool. Like, and, you know, at first this was just for me, you know, but when I just started thinking, should I like release this? And I was like, it's a good deed. You know, this is really cool. I think these songs are really good. You know, there's a song on the record called Rock the Cradle that's about my experience on Rock the Cradle.
Mm-hmm.
And Gone Like I Stole Something was sort of like my experience, you know, breaking up my marriage. And, you know, a lot of songs that just like really like were songs that I had to get out of myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, each one of them, you know, even Back Around Again, like I just used to say pretty much every one of the songs on that list I had memorized. Like every verse, every melody, like I had the whole thing memorized because I liked it so much. So, you know, these were things that were relatively easy to get out of my face. And, you know, I was, you know, ultimately thrilled with how it all came out. You know, it's funny. I make myself sort of like get satisfied when I get pretty close. You know, pretty close to what I want. And then I go, all right, this might be okay. And then I'll just sit with it for a little bit. And generally speaking, I come around and I go, oh yeah, it's great. You know, it's the song, you know, the lyrics, the melody, and the intention. You know, there's a lot that I put into these things. So, you know, pretty close is damn, you know, close. And I can always, you know, be able to do these things, you know, live with the band or whatever else in the future. And I wrote so much. and there really is like a wealth of really good stuff. You know, I'd rather like just like make a lot of things and pull from a pile the best than
Yeah.
you know than just like hold it in.
Listen, I'm excited because there's a treasure troves of books of stuff that you've written that I've seen with my own eyes that is now got the possibility of becoming alive, and it's great. Tim says, when you first told me about it, I was slightly apprehensive, but when I listened to the demos, that all melted away. Your soul and authenticity is front and center. I can feel your love in every note. And it's true. Like that's why I'm having you on the show tonight to help kind of promote it. And
Like I said, you know, the AI is savvy. It hears resonance. It will deliver the goods if you deliver the goods to it. It's hard to get it to stay exactly you and exactly as your performance is that we put in, but the soul of it's there. Often, you know, I used to send it around, and I would always say, you know, I know my voice is kind of, you know, a little off from, you know, I know it doesn't exactly sound like me or whatever. And then so many people said, actually, I think it does sound like you. that I was just like, all right, you know, like whatever, because the heart of it is it's all based on my vocal performance, my kind of beatboxing, and you know, the song that he wanted to play a little clip of. You know, there's this conspiracy theory song, you know, and the whole like opening was you know it was I like the whole thing starts with me singing like a you know, and then I start singing the song. But you know, it's filled with lots of little hints at the musical arrangement to sort of cue the AI. Then, of course, I'm like arranging this thing because there's certain limitations to like what I can put in, and it's a chore to get it all exactly the way like, you know, I would like it, and rarely is it close to exactly, but close enough, and you know, and just to have an idea like some of the things that I did for my mom or my kids made on any level is awesome. And like the one that I made for Logan, she was like all embarrassed of it, but she played it for her friend, and I come back like to like the house like a week later, and she goes, you know, my friend won't stop playing the song, and I go, oh yeah. She's like, yeah. She keeps telling me, Logan, this is really good. like get over this again. Like, this is awesome. Like, and
yeah, it is really good. It is really good. Can we play a little bit of that new track?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this so this is one that I held back the last time when I was messing around, but I'm thinking that this is actually going to be the free track or the bonus track. If we hit $10,000 on this campaign, we're gonna I'm gonna include this track on the album.
I love this one. This one's great. All right, let's play a little bit of this. I don't know how much I'm going to play, but
I don't think we can get a strike on this one. We can play like at least like half of it because it's not like in the system. Can you hear anything? I can't hear anything.
I'm hearing it.
I can't hear it. Can you guys hear it?
Hold on a second. Are you guys hearing this? Jesse's saying he can't hear it, and I thought I shared it with the sound. It's fucking awesome. It really builds me up. Let me know in the comments if you could hear it. That was freaking awesome. Love it. Are you hearing it, Arnie? Because I'm going to remove it. I'm going to share it again and just make sure that I include the sound. Share.
Arnie's comment was from before it started playing.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is a Chrome tab. Also share audio. It says also share audio. Share. All right. I'm going to play it, and let's see if it works this time. Oh, what's going on here? It says I'm sharing the tab. Are you hearing that?
It's not playing.
Well, I'm enjoying it. I don't know. You can't even hear it through my microphone, huh? Wow. I wonder if maybe Suno has that blocked so that you can't play it. I wonder, can I download the track? If I could download it, I can probably copy link. No. All right, you're going to play it on your phone for us?
Conspiracy theorist, I look around and just can't understand. Here is something perfectly clear that is an answer you cannot defend. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I couldn't be nearest to the truth. Hey, we all are conspiracy theorists. Hey guys, how about you? Here is a conspiracy theory. I take the red pill, but can't comprehend. Here is something factually real, an injustice that must be avenged. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I couldn't be nearest to the truth.
Hold it closer to the mic. Love that.
Conspiracy theorist, I couldn't be nearest to the truth.
Beautiful. That's awesome. All I'm going to say, besides how amazing that song is, you came on saying how sick you were, and look at you bouncing around and smiling now. You've healed yourself with your own music.
Rally. Yes, that is in 432 hertz.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wish we could have had some better audio. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty, folks. I don't know why Suno wasn't letting me play the sound through the browser, but there you go. There's a little taste. The amazing, incredible, talented, beyond words, Jesse Blaze. I can't thank you enough for allowing me to play that on my show.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's wonderful, and again, you texted it to me. You sent it to me last night, and I just I literally had to process it for a couple of minutes, because I was like, this is really everything you've been doing culminated in one vibration. And
it's all about it's a perfect example of what I like to talk about sometimes, but I don't always have a good example to point to, about changing the resonance of something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The reason why the song is so wonderful and it makes us so happy is because there's a certain resonance connected with conspiracy theory, conspiracy theorists, the whole subject. And this song is such a rousing antithesis of that it shatters the glass in this wonderful way. As soon as you hear it once, you go, how was I thinking about it? That's how I should be. It's yeah, I am. Fuck yeah, I am. I'm a fucking conspiracy. Yeah, yes, I am.
You bring up such an amazing point, which is, you were saying to me earlier, you spoke to this podcast that wants to use the song it's just gonna, man, that song is just gonna go viral. It's just, there's no doubt.
Yes,
it's just
Cody had that same reaction to it. It's funny, and he had the same idea for a music video, except the simpler version. He was just you should just cut together clips of articles.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I kind of had this idea of like me getting on my computer just as kind of like a regular guy, and like starting out with like the Charlie Kirk thing during the first verse,
Right.
and and it's like here is something perfectly clear is an answer you cannot defend, and then me getting into like CIA, Israel plotting assassination, like all like the conspiracy stuff involving like Charlie Kirk, and then in the second verse looking up 9/11 and looking at building 7, and it's like it's like here is something factually real, it's an injustice that must be defended, and then like just falling into the rabbit hole and this like one thing after another, but just like my reactions like, oh my god, like what the hell, like just like over time, like slowly like being run down by the amount of information that's out there. And then like in the end, it could be the morning and my wife could like walk in and she could be like, how was your night, honey? And I can go, I think I just got red pilled. Done.
That's great.
Yeah, but I got to do something with it. There was a moment when I was meditating on it the other night, and I was thinking like maybe I would talk to you about doing something with it. I don't know. I definitely think it's got legs. Like I said, it's one of those things that I was holding back before when I was still feeling a little guilty about it. I was like, I don't want to, stain this by working on it with AI. But it's this wonderful song that I really wanted to do, and it's like me and Dilf USA had spoken before about being timely and being able to release things like Johnny on the Spot.
I remember. Yeah.
And it's been really exceptionally hard to do that as well with a band.
Yeah.
There's just like there's something that I can do kind of right now with a couple things that I'd like to get out of me while I can, while it seems meaningful to get them out of me.
Right.
I'm really, like I said, I'm just trying to use this. I keep repeating that, but I keep trying to use this for good. And like, I do have a real moral mind about so much of this. And there are, lines that, I'd rather not cross and are a little bit more difficult for me to contemplate. But for this was like, yeah, like this makes sense. This is nice. Like, yay, the bonus, I can do this. And I couldn't do it yesterday,
right.
And and I don't feel bad about it anymore.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel bad. I think AI is a tool, and is it true that AI can make somebody who doesn't have a lot of talent look like they have talent? Yeah, but so what? Why would that bother somebody? If you're looking at something and you think it looks cool, and then you have to say, "Oh, was that AI?" Like, what's the difference? You know what I mean? Like how you created something, if the final product is something that has integrity and is something that you're proud of and something that other people will respond to.
Yeah, all these things work themselves out in the end. If you get into a room and you don't understand song structure and whatnot, and it turns out you're getting that all from the AI. Like that's the one thing that the AI is great at. And I'm really good at it too. So it's like, it's intuitive in a way that I'm really intuitive, and the arrangements of the majority of these songs that I love them. They tend to be really light on music and more a cappella. Heavy on the vocals, which again I love too, because again, these are my songs. I wrote them. But I'm getting backed up musically by the AI. So when it does feature it like that and lets the vocal stand for itself, I actually like, I'm that much more proud of it, and that much more of a reason to like, redo it in a less a cappella way with the band in the future,
right? And
have like other things. But it's just been so fun messing with all this stuff, honestly.
Totally. I want to see if I can upload something here. Give me a second. More music. Oh yes, I can. Okay, let's add some music. So I've been working with AI just in my work as a graphic designer, and this isn't even graphic design, but I'll do videos I work with NYPO Popo, tattoo artist, amazing tattoo artist, and I do these little short videos for him on his social media. And check out this little tune I made that I could just put behind the video.
Check out this crazy tattoo Who done it? NYPO today. Sweet.
Just like a 30, not even 30 seconds, 20 seconds little thing. Check out this tattoo, as if it was done in a studio with like a metal musician. I love it. I think it's great. That's fun.
I've done a bunch of things like that for my friends. Well, for my girlfriend, her company, Ozcat Productions.
Ozcat, Ozcat.
Yes, you've heard. And then I did one for a clothing company that are friends of ours. And wait, I'll show you a little bit of the jingle. But I thought this was so on the money. They were like resistant to using it. The company's called Riot Stitch.
Uh-huh.
And then they heard it and they were like, okay, no, we can use this.
Yeah, I remember. Oh,
Wait, if I can get it.
ducking out the sound a little bit. There you go. Awesome. It's I mean, again, it's such a cool new creative tool that we've never seen the likes of. You know, it really allows us to like get stuff done quickly and like, you know,
for me, more music is more music.
I love it.
People getting to play music and make things for themselves that are meaningful. You know, I had a friend of mine who's, you know, not musical at all, just put in some words and stuff like that. You know, he's building the website for blacklightdistrict.studio, which is our company's website. And he sent me like these 2 songs about me. And they were it just had my name in it and a couple, you know, key things. And I played it multiple times. It was good enough to listen to multiple times. It was about me. My friend sent it to me. It was really sweet. I got all teary-eyed that somebody made that for me in the first place.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is great. You know, like, who's mad about this?
Totally great. Totally great.
You know, it's all how you're looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. And you control that. And you can decide everything is all right. Everything is all right. You don't have to let everything offend you or get you upset, you know? Anyway, Jesse, this is I'm so honored. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your Kickstarter with us. I hope some people enjoyed it. And
I hope some people go and back it. Hey, listen, if you can't back it, that's all. That's totally cool. But please, if you can think of anybody who might be interested in this, like as a subject matter of like, you know, this is interesting what I'm doing, please share it with them. Like, you know, a direct share. Don't share it on your social media. I've never had more people share anything ever that I've ever done than this project. And I see zero traction from anybody sharing whatsoever. These social media companies just have all that shit locked up. But if you know anybody personally who you think would be into it, just like, you know, drop them a text or you know, give them a call and say, hey, check out this really cool thing. I think you'd like it. Because it really would mean more than an ad coming from me that, you know, a friend of theirs recommended in the first place. So if you can do that, I appreciate it. Anyway.
Totally. And we would both appreciate it. It's amazing. Jesse Blaze, once again on the live stream of consciousness, a rare appearance here where you used to be a fixture. now you're just a guest, an esteemed guest. I love it.
Everybody tell Kim Princess what about the campaign. Tell her about the campaign.
Kim Princess coming in. Hi, everyone. The campaign, the Kickstarter campaign, Solfeggio Frequencies, amazing rock tunes by the super talented Jesse Blaze, all done in healing frequencies, so you can rock out and you can heal yourself at the same
rock
time.
Out and heal yourself.
I love it. Anyway, again, thank you so much. I don't even want to go. It's like I feel like we're hanging out. It's like, oh, now I gotta go. Jesse's gotta go home now. All good, all good. I don't know. I don't even know. I just erased my whiteboard next to me, so I don't have the names of who's coming up on what. You guys always show up, and I always appreciate you guys being here. So thank you for coming tonight and hanging out. Kim is telling Kim to watch the replay. Also, he's on a promotional blitz that'll pay off. I did see Tim earlier. He said some things about reaching the goal. He thinks that we're going to reach the goal. I agree. I think we're going to reach that first goal, even some of the stretch goals.
The first goal I think we should hopefully reach relatively soon.
Yeah, you're just about there.
I haven't been able to send my mailing list yet, so that hopefully will put us over the top in the next.
That will definitely do it. That will actually get you rocking and rolling, man.
It's like
awesome.
600 or so people on there, and I think that'll be the bit. But I've been waiting to send that out, but dealing with computer stuff. So that'll happen. I mean, but really for me, it's like I already feel like it's a success, but
absolutely.
But my real goal, I want to try to raise 33,000 in 33 days. If I could do that, which would just mean I sold 1,000 copies of the CD, which is really, I don't think, a completely unreasonable thing to do. So, but if I do that, a lot of this goes to just sort of getting the next two things. That I have a magazine that I'm working on. Michael, you're involved in that as well. Mm-hmm. We need covers. And, I'd like to bring in a couple big name people on the covers, and that costs money. And then, I'm working on this hemp plastic initiative that's probably going to be coming out in the new year with some toys made of hemp plastic, biodegradable plastics. And I need to pay to have a number of different elements for that made so that I can offer that campaign. So this is honestly just sort of the beginning of a number of things that are all, good for the environment. Our magazine is a magazine that's meant for young creative people coming up in the world. It's, mixed arts, being talked about and on display, and, different types of creative people, offering their advice, on getting into the arts and stuff. It's really going to be a great kind of cutting edge magazine. But then the hemp plastic thing and the Solfeggio transmissions, this is clear and present. We should be changing the tuning of all music to 432 hertz. The conversation should come out. We should be having that conversation. Enjoy this music and get into it as an excuse to go and tell people about this, and the fact that we don't tune music like that. We should, and we should be questioning this, and just like we should be questioning the oil industry plastic when we have other options like hemp based plastics. Mm-hmm. So I'm really trying to change the world in the way that I do everything with my business, including how we do things in partnerships. Like Michael's working a little bit on this campaign with me, and he has a percentage ownership of the success. Doing things that are more truly equity-based,
collaborative. Yeah, we're all in this together. I say this all the time, and Tim is saying I'm part of the magazine as well. Tim is amazing. Tim has been a part of the show since the beginning, the live stream of consciousness. He's definitely been an amazing part of the family, and I love what you're saying about this collaborative thing. I mean, we're all in this together. I mean, even the spiritual thing of we're all walking each other home. I can't even imagine there's two factions of thought, right? We're all in this together, or every man for himself. I can't imagine voting for that every man for himself when you can have a team of humanity.
Well, I've just been, on this earth long enough, observing my friends, and no matter who you are, we all seem to be struggling. And and that struggle is is the system that we're under. I've watched it in the entertainment industry, in the comic book industry. Whatever it is, they're always just superficially minded, and not pursuing a higher way of doing things on any way, shape, or form. And I'm like, really somebody who likes to be a background person, but I am, kind of trying to take a role of leadership because I know that I can trust myself to do it the way I'd like to see it done, and the way I think that it will prove to be smart, even to do. And somebody has to. You got to start these things. And like with this endeavor, we're covering music and we're covering comic books, and a lot of it may seem self-serving because I'm a lot of the foundation of some of these things. But the magazine, which opens the door up to photo arrays for Michael Zinn, and work for my buddy Digger Mesh, and work for my friend Aaron Sparrow, and many different collaborators and different people who will end up in the magazine, especially different people that I'd like to see in the magazine over time. My joy with the magazine would be and will be to be there when there are young, talented people offering to do something and be gracious and wonderful to them and give them an opportunity and an open door and get the benefit of their wonderful art, because I have enough taste to, select those people. I never understood why some really talented people weren't being lifted up in the business for years and years. And, I realized a lot of people just don't trust their taste, and I have great taste. And I really am happy to go around and, have my eyes open for wonderful new talents, because that door isn't always open for them. And, and who do you need in that position to be able to get those new talents to people? Somebody who is a good judge of, talent, who's got some good taste, and, and is willing to put their ego aside every time and, and go, "You're great. We'd love to have you." Changing things in this industry, in music, I have a bunch of artists that I want to bring to the forefront in the future. It's got to start with me getting myself, in like a
absolutely.
Position. But there's a list of them. People like I like to tend to mention Chris Sanchez, who's the singer and songwriter for a band called The Mercurial, and now Chris isn't really up to a lot of stuff in that world right now, but there's no reason why he shouldn't be. He's a great performer. He's beautiful voice, like so many different things. And there's a lot of people like that I know. So, and just being able to get all these things on track is really going to put a lot of wonderfully talented people to work, which is really the
awesome. I love it. I love it. And in that we're all in this together. Arnie says WWG1 WGA, which Evie says, what does that mean? Arnie says, where we go one, we go all. And what I love about that is the healing community. The people who are healing themselves are actually helping to heal the world, right? Because if you heal yourself, you're healing the world. And that's what's happening. And Tim says, as in Jesse's song "Carry Me Home," we all need someone to help carry us home sometimes. Think of collaboration, especially in Blacklight District Studios.
You know what's really funny? I feel like you would back this up, Michael. You get to a point where you just don't have the energy for that kind of energy. If you understand what I'm saying?
Totally.
The embodying the thing, it is the right answer, and you're kind of like guided that thing of like, what the wise men speak less, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it really does, there's like a dual sword with it where, somebody will say something that you find particularly ignorant,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll finally have a moment where you just go, say anything, about that. I don't want to even have that conversation.
Yeah, and there's no need to. I'm gonna bring this full circle as we end this episode, and I'm gonna say, before enlightenment, chop wood, boil water. After enlightenment, chop wood, boil water. That's what I'm gonna leave you with.
A wise man said.
And with that, thank you guys for being here.
And thank you for supporting the campaign, and thanks for having me on the show, Michael. I appreciate it.
You got it. I love you. You know it. Stick around my channel, Holding Space, Live Stream of Consciousness. Always doing this kind of stuff. Always a vibration of love. If you have an amazing story or experience that you want to talk about, reach out. we'll talk. I love talking about this stuff. I love holding space for the collective. I love connecting to the live stream of consciousness, all of that stuff. I will see you guys again. Peace. Oops.
This is the theme song for the live stream of consciousness. You gotta ask yourself whether reality is a dream or you are dream reality. We're all a part